Why does Jesus go to the home of Martha and Mary in our gospel today? I don't know if we really know the answer. The scriptures don't really tell us why he goes there. And so that's left to us to consider the very purpose of Jesus going to the home of Martha and Mary. I'd like to offer maybe a few suggestions as to why he went there, a few possibilities. For one of them, of course, Jesus always does everything with a purpose, with an intention. So Jesus goes there because he knows everything. He knows what's going to happen and what's going to transpire. And so maybe he goes there because he knows there's going to be this moment, this lesson. Whenever we talk about this gospel, we always talk about the active and the contemplative and Martha and Mary and how they're two different people and all of that. And maybe this event happens because Jesus wants to give us that point of teaching so that for time immemorial, we would be talking about Martha and Mary and the busy and the active, the contemplative, the prayerful, and all of that. Yes, that's one possible reason why Jesus goes to the home of Martha and Mary. But here's another one to consider. What if Jesus goes to the home of Martha and Mary because there's someone along the way that he knows he's going to encounter? There's going to be someone along the way that needs to hear something that he's going to say to them. Or that he knows that as he's journeying to the town of Bethany, someone's going to come and ask for the healing of somebody. And so he's putting himself along the road at the right time in the right place. Maybe that's one of the reasons why Jesus goes to Bethany. I'm sure you've had that experience. I've had that experience as a priest, that I'm in the right place at the right time to say the right thing. And maybe Jesus, that's his purpose. There's, other factors for the Lord as well. Maybe he knows that as he goes to Martha and Mary's home, maybe he's going because he knows Martha needs to calm down a little bit. And by the very fact that he is the Lord, that he's going to bring peace and quiet and comfort into the home. Or maybe he knows that Mary has some question that's burning on her heart that she wants to ask him. And so he's going so that she has the opportunity to ask that question. It's another possibility, huh? I think this is the real reason why Jesus goes to Martha and Mary's home. That Jesus probably has just sent out the 12. He sent out the 72. He's told them to preach his name, to cast out demons, to heal the sick, to do all of those things. And now he's getting away. He's going to the home of his friends, Martha and Mary and Lazarus. He's going to spend a few days there. He's been around thousands of people. He's been performing miracles, healing the sick, multiplying bread, giving teachings, all of these things. And I think Jesus just wants to get away and to rest a little bit, to spend time with his friends. And maybe that's something we don't think about enough when it comes to this gospel story. Maybe you have a cottage or a cabin or you have a boat. I don't have any of those things, but I have friends that do. And so I'm able to go to people's cottages or cabins and recreate, do things with them. I'm able to go out on a boat on a Sunday afternoon and go around the lake. I'm able to go fishing with friends. I think this is a lesson of rest and friendship, that we need friends, that we need rest, that sometimes we need to get away. That as we get away, then we're not thinking about all those things that typically are consuming us. And then we come back and return to our life, Jesus returns to the road of ministry refreshed and renewed. I think that's what's going on in our gospel today. Now, Martha and Mary are friends of the Lord, welcoming him into their home. For us, we probably welcome friends into our home at times. Every year, I have a priest friend from Chicago named Father Nick. And Father Nick, for the last 5 or so years, has been coming to my parish wherever I've been. And he spends a few days. He always comments how it's much quieter than living underneath the flight path of O'Hare Airport. But we spend time together. I usually plan things for us to do. I figure out places to see or things to do, places to eat. And it's very tempting at times to overbook our schedule, to force a lot of things into that time. But here's a guy, he's coming to stay at my parish for a few days, and he wants to rest. We can't be too busy at those moments of rest. It's almost sometimes, maybe you've had the experience, you need a vacation from the vacation you just went on. Sometimes that happens. You go to your cabin and you got all these things you need to do. So how to find that balance, I think. This nature of rest, it's quite scriptural, quite biblical. The notion of the Sabbath rest, that every week on Sunday for us as Christians, the Lord invites us to enter into Sabbath rest, to spend time with family, to recreate. And so do we really take advantage of that invitation from the Lord? Do we ever get away? And maybe you don't have a cottage or cabin. Maybe you don't have a boat, but is there some place you can get away to? Just for me, the end of a day, sitting on my back porch, looking out into my backyard, that's enough sometimes. Spiritually, I know a lot of people from our parish and our community, they often go to the Shrine and Champion. They will go there for a little half-day trip, but they're getting away. They're finding a place to pray. They're entering into spiritual rest. We're so lucky that the churches here in Shawano, or the church in Cecil, that it's open for the majority of the day, that we're able just to get away from the busyness of the world at times. Maybe when you're downtown running errands, you just mosey on over to Sacred Heart and you go into the church and spend a few moments in quiet prayer. That's what resting with the Lord, I think, looks like. I don't know the real reason why Jesus went to Martha and Mary's home. I think he went alone. The Gospels don't tell us that he was there with his apostles. I think he went for friendship, for rest, for conversation. And if the Lord did it, and if we're supposed to pattern our lives after the example of Jesus, well then, we do that with our friends. We find time for friendship, for holy conversations, for rest with our family, for rest with the Lord. Why do you think Jesus went to the home of Martha and Mary? How is this gospel speaking to you today?